Well, these are like
girls
studies.
like flowers.
These are studies done at MIT. So
yeah, they're like, no,
really,
girls, the pollen count matters with the flowers.
Right. Anyway.
That's the MIT version. So iPhone developers, I get it. Boomsies. Phone developers, I get it. Boomsies, boomsies. Obviously, this is a little bit of a gold rush.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, totally been thinking about what kind of iPhone app should I make, because I want $250,000 every 2 months. You kidding me? What up with that?
But the cool thing, I think the cool thing about where we are in the state of the kind of tech world is that Glenn, honestly, could make an iPhone app next week. Not because he's a developer, but because he could go out there and say, I have an idea. He could spend $2,000. He could find himself a freelance developer, and he could make a little prototype. He could launch it, and most likely, if it's a decent, app idea,
he could make his $2,000 back.
He begs us to plug it for him on Diggnation,
which we could maybe do.
He will make his money back. But you see what I'm saying? Like, anybody can get into this game, which is really exciting.
I like games. I want to get into the game.
You should do it, dude. You should come up with a cool idea.
Done. I'm done. On my way home today, on the plane,
I'm gonna do something stupid.
I'm gonna do something stupid, dude. I told you I love the idea of the $999 one. You gotta sell it, shit done less.
Oh, dude, that's.
I'm not gonna make that one. I'm not gonna make that one.
It's already been done.
It's gonna be a $5,000 one. It's gonna be awesome. It's called I'm Super Super Rich.
Dude,
I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna make one. We're gonna see what happens.
If I plug it, I gotta get a cut then.
All right, I'll give you a cut. I'll give you a slice of the pie if you can. If you really plug it. I mean, like plug it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna have relations with it.
Well, you don't have to have relations with it. It is an innie, not an outie. Okay, next story, also on the same vein, as it were. T-Mobile G1 first hands-on with Google phone. 1,532 people dug this story, submitted by MacBot. Yep, there it is. We finally got our mitts all over the first Android device, the T-Mobile G1. Hanging out in the crowd, waiting for the official announcement, naturally. And so far, we like what we see. The phone is surprisingly thinner. The phone is surprisingly thinner than we thought it would be, and it feels pretty solid in your hand. I know how that feels. No, the phone is solid. What? So, I went down the rabbit hole. Hold on one sec. I'm like 72 pictures in.
It's hot in here.
I know, it's so hot. It's your apartment. Come
the
on,
beers are
it's
nice
amazing.
and cold, though.
I know, it is nice. Okay, so here's the deal. We've been talking for a very long time about the possibility of the Google phone. Some people were speculating that it was going to be a free service. Some people speculating that it was going to be based on VoIP sitting on this giant umbrella of free Wi-Fi, that somehow the gurus at Google were going to blink it down upon us like some sort of, karmic Yoda. None of that stuff happened. But Android is the operating system that Google has made for hand devices or headsets. And T-Mobile's G1 is one of the first, if not the first. I don't know if there are other ones, maybe like in Europe or something. Probably not. So here's the thing. I will say I'm very, very interested in this because I feel like the iPhone, and I've talked about this before, really took the phone to a totally different place, right? It really became a handheld email web surfing device. GPS,
navigation.
Not so much. I mean, navigation is a little bit like, well, it doesn't beat a Garmin, you know what I mean?
It'll get better.
Yeah, well, may hope it all. So after that little conversation, so the first, this is the G1 from T-Mobile, and it looks like it's going to be pretty solid. Here are a couple things that are not good about it. First off, they said that now this hasn't been released, so this is a test model. I mean, this is not a production model. But they say that the, browser, the web browser is a little chunky. It's a little chuggy.
Right.
Also, they said so far there's no multi-gestures, or what that's called, multi-touch.
Oh, multi-touch, yeah.
So, I mean, to me, it seems like that's the no-brainer.
This is a very first.
Oh, it's
volley,
the first time it's
this
even
is like
been
the
out.
first, yeah. So here's what I think.
I'm gonna say, for me, this thing looks pretty cool.
Here's where I think that Google could win here. I have yet to play with this device. So
the Marsden is pretty good.
If somebody has played with it and I'm saying, are you peeing in the corner of my house,
What?
Glenn?
Oh, wow, that really
Did
looks
see
like you
that?
were doing that.
He was like leaning over like he's pissing in the corner.
Oh my God. You had a look on your face like you had just been caught peeing in a corner too, which is the best part.
I would be pissed if you pissed in my house.
Totally. I was like, hip it, hip, get a broom,
Like,
hip
no.
it, get him outside.
Like, prayer, take him outside.
Yeah, loud noises.
Stop.
Hip. Throw some salmon skin at him. Something to distract him.
I love how like salmon skin, throw it out. Like, how is that the first thing you think of?
He's a hippie. It would get him.
All right,
here we go.
So
here's where Google can win.
here's where I think, and if I'm completely wrong, this already exists, then shoot me. Don't shoot me, but you get the idea. What I'm thinking is that I see a lot of promise here in that they're putting out a platform out there that pretty much anyone can develop to, right?
Right.
My concern is that where Apple is kicking major ass, and this is what Motorola and freaking Samsung and Google, everyone has to realize this.
Okay.
It's one thing that they're doing that's so badass.
Okay.
They have, without a doubt, the coolest designers and usability experts in the world developing their phone. Everything is cool about the iPhone. And I don't just mean like looks-wise, but like their attention to detail is insane.
Yeah.
We talked about this with the Zune. When you boot up the Zune, it does this like old like Windows 3.1 like little like great like little gradient at the bottom.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs would have looked at that if that was on the iPhone and like thrown it across the room.
Right.
Because he demands that everything be pixel perfect and just be, great show by the way, just be like awesome, like polished. You know what I'm saying? So what Google needs to do here is realize that they don't have that look. All the screenshots that I've seen have been cool, and there's a lot of cool looking kind of apps and things like that.
Functionality, but I mean that phone does not look cool.
They don't have the cool glassy kind of fun. Like, so what I'm proposing is that they need to allow you to kind of. Do you remember in Windows when you could replace like the Explorer? And it would change the complete functionality of Windows.
Yeah, their themes.
Like, yeah, exactly. You could kind of like
Windows 95 had it.
Right. So
and people would like give that like the Spider-Man 3 theme and like the.
Right. So what they need to do is allow you to. I don't want to say skin it, but just allow people that are experts in that field to customize it to the point that it changes every little icon and detail of the interface. Because if they did that, I would love to sit down with some of our UI guys at Dig and just be like, let's develop the coolest, slickest freaking interface for the phone possible. And then you're talking about something where you show your friends and they go, holy shit, that's as cool, if not cooler, than what I have on my iPhone.
Yeah, right.
Because right now, when you put them side by side, you're like, oh, what's that all about, right? And you're like, oh, cool, you have an Amazon Music Store. That's cool. You know, but it doesn't have that sexy feeling that it needs to have.
Right.
That's where, when I look at like all these like Sprint, Instinct, like they sent me a free one to play with it. And I played with it for like a half hour and I was like, you know, I get what they're trying to do here, but it's just like they're trying to be an iPhone, but they're not quite there.
It's like they don't understand what it is that makes the iPhone the iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah, right, I get that. And
you couldn't have said it better. That's exactly it.
And here are some things that I think are good that this is doing. I have always wanted the Sidekick that flips open and you get a full QWERTY keyboard. I like that. Yeah. My biggest complaint with the iPhone, and I have a few, but not very many. It's a great device, especially now that mine is fixed.
What? Oh, you missed it. They just showed an Android. If you go back, there's an Android with flip-out keyboard.
Right. That's this.
Oh, that is flip-out like that.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Look.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. See. So, and this is the thing. This is one of the things that I think they did really well. They kept it thin. They allowed it to have the flip-out full QWERTY keyboard because one of the big complaints that I have about the iPhone is. And I know people have been able to type well on it and fast. I can type fast on it. The problem is that because there's no tactile response, like when I type on a keyboard, I make mistakes, but I know I have made the mistake.
Right.
So my typing, and I think this is a lot of people, when you type, you're typing, you know you've typed something wrong. I know I hit, E instead of R, and then I hit the backspace and I hit E. Like, I know I make the mistake.
Right.
On the iPhone, there's no way to know that you've made the mistake unless you are watching the keyboard.
Right.
So you get into this thing where I have to keep my eyes down on the keyboard, but then you don't know if the iPhone is doing the right thing at the top because it's trying to guess at what you're, like if you spell a word wrong.
It is a little wonky, even after using it for like
I know,
a year or whatever
it's
now.
just a
I'm
little
still
wonky.
a little kind of
So
weird.
like when I have to write a really long email in response to somebody,
Right.
I will wait and I will write it at
Oh,
home.
I will too. I will too.
And I don't think that I need to do that. I think that that's what the BlackBerry, that's what this is really allowing you to do, is for me personally, and this isn't about anybody else's experience with the iPhone, for me personally, if I had a keyboard that had tactile response, like you know the little, the Xbox thing that you can plug in, the little keypad?
Yeah.
I can write like a son of a bitch on that thing.
You can?
Oh, yeah.
I've never used that.
Oh, it's amazing. If I had that on my phone, I'd be firing away however long an email I needed to say. I'd just be like, and I can do some of that with the iPhone. It's just that I always got to go, oh, it thought my thumb was too close to the return, so now it's returned, and the next word in the sentence is capitalized. Like, what?
Yeah.
What's that about? So I'm excited for the prospects of this.
Yeah, same here.
The design is definitely not as slick at all as the iPhone. And I want to know what it is. I mean, is there any price breaks? I mean, what are the deal? Because Google, the whole thing was that it was going to be free service or it was going to be lower cost service. Like, what are the benefits? Because right now, all we've seen is a hands-on of